to work together. So that's my little pep talk for the day. But I think we're ready. Mongo has indicated that he's ready. Looks like he's going to be playing the Chinese civilization. GoodSpeed as well has selected the British civilization. We'll see whether or not he sticks with that. I suspect he will.
Yeah, he said in chat, he says Brit always works. And I think there's some merit to that train of thought. I don't think that Brits have any matchups where they do too badly. I don't know what you think, but
they're kind of like I think a slightly higher risk, higher reward version of French in that way, right? If you think of like civs that don't have a ton of weaknesses, I think Brits have a few more weaknesses just because they're so dependent on the map a little bit more than French are. Stuff like that, but I think in general there's some merit to that. Brits are usually a pretty solid pick. They don't have a ton of overly weak matchups, and as a result, it looks like GoodSpeed is going to select that as his first civilization. The matchup is going to be China versus Brit on Tibet, assuming, of course, that we launch into the game. My game is currently set at 0.
Yeah, same. But GoodSpeed is already breaking the, I don't want to say the meta, but like breaking the trend where he's not going for Chinese mirror right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, certainly Tibet seems to be the China mirror map. It is a bit concerning as the British player to have low hunts on Tibet, and looks like Mongo has won 1-0.
Yeah.
GoodSpeed maybe having a little bit of connection issues. Looks like he's dropped off of ESO.
Yep, he has. He'll come back.
We'll try and fetch him.
It's you bring up a good point about the British hunts. Tibet doesn't have. Well, it's not that they don't have a lot of hunts. It's that they're awkwardly placed around the map, so that doesn't really help Brits unless I don't know. It's indeed an awkward choice. If you think about it, like without going too deep into the analysis.
Yeah, I think China mirroring. I mean, this map is just there's so many good things for China on this map, and I know Mongo plays the Chinese civilization very, very well. And I just do fear that GoodSpeed could get into a situation where he just doesn't have enough hunt to do all of the things that Brit wants to accomplish in this matchup. Get a good boom going, get some eco, some techs, and still try and age up and have enough food left over to get a lot of vet Huss and get a lot of vet Musk and get all those upgrades going and stuff like that. So we'll see whether or not that actually ends up being an issue. But quickly introducing our players, spawning in the upper right side of the map in the color green. Playing the British civilization is GoodSpeed. And his opponent, absolutely, you're going to be interjection. That's his word, absolutely. You
picked up a few tips.
you can pretend to be interjection, absolutely. You have to say it with a British accent.
I don't have one. But...
Yeah, I struggle with the British accent myself as well. But his opponent spawning in the bottom left side of the map. In the color blue, playing the Chinese civilization, Mongo10, China versus Brit. It's going to be kind of a fun one to see. I think it's fairly safe to assume at this point the Chinese civilization will almost certainly be. I mean, let's cut to the chase. China is a one-trick pony in Age of Empires 3. They do one thing really, really well, and that's fast fortressing. There's very little options for them to play Age 2, and I don't suspect we'll see anything groundbreaking coming out of the Chinese side. On the other side of the map from the Brit player, a lot more options, and we'll see as the game unfolds which of those options GoodSpeed's going to elect to do.
GoodSpeed going with the Brits, and I'm kind of surprised he already put down 2 manners. Does that mean we're not going to see Virginia Company out of GoodSpeed?
He has been favoring that, hasn't he? Now that you say that, if I think back to the previous game that he played, who is he playing? Who did he play in the previous?
It was not Tibia. It was I have the. Oh, it was a pretty good player. He played Otto on Arizona. Oh damn.
I don't recall.
Amnesia.
I don't recall who it was as well, but I do remember him going British company, and I know that he's kind of fallen into the A's mindset of Virginia company being good in a lot of situations. But like you mentioned, 2 manners coming down almost certainly means we're not going to see Virginia company. In fact, GoodSpeed gearing up with what looks like a completely standard in-meta build, going to be sending 3 villagers as his first card, and just prioritizing getting aged up a little bit earlier, and we'll see what that means, whether or not there's going to be any pressure behind this, or still doing some sort of cav opening and maybe a semi-FF behind it.
I actually remember who we played now. It was Roman? I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, but it was... he's actually in the same clan, as Mongo, I think.
Yeah. The Highway Clan.
Yep.
The Highway
so
Clan.
GoodSpeed is positioning himself to be the killer.
The killer of the Highway Clan.
That's it.
The Highway Clan Slayer.
By the way, I read from chat I'm still a bit low. I'm going to try to speak a little louder, but maybe you should also turn me up just a touch.
Yeah, I can bump you up in Skype a little bit.
And we'll see if that works out.
Yeah, I can bump you up a little bit there. I mean, you sound pretty good here, and I'm looking at the levels just in OBS, and it looks to be about the same, but we'll bump you up a little bit.
All right, then. We'll see how that works out.
We'll see how it works out. Mongo10, currently on his way up, does have his summer palace laid down, currently constructing with 4 villagers. Is going to find his way up to the next age here fairly shortly. GoodSpeed as well. Take a look at the text being researched. Currently aging as well. Aging with that Philosopher Prince. I had this discussion with H2O in the previous game that we watched GoodSpeed play, and he's been favoring Philosopher Prince a lot. Of course, there are some merits to arguing that the Governor is better. It does give you that tower, which allows you to perhaps prepare yourself for a semi-FF a little better, gives you a shipment point for applying pressure against the Chinese player. It does also give you 200 coin, allows you to get techs like steel traps and the like a little bit easier as well. Plus the vision and map control that the tower provides is always kind of nice. But GoodSpeed going to be favoring that Philosopher Prince age up, gives him the 500 food, and we'll see what he does with that. Last time I watched him play with that, he used it to do longbow pike, and I argued that Philosopher Prince, the only time I really saw it being good was if you were going to do a big X-bow pike, longbow pike type bust, and we'll see whether or not anything like that is in the cards, or if he's just going to use it to train villagers and get himself aged up. We'll have to see.
Yeah, he has 2 hunts already taken, and I was actually mistaken. Excuse me for that, but he actually did send Virginia Company.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. Interesting. It's kind
Nothing
of
else.
Yeah, it's kind of a questionable call when you build 2 manners. But I guess he just values the card in itself, just the extra wood that is going to save him. Certainly is going to give him the ability to boom quite hard. And ooh, look at this. Yeah, Mongo is sending 7 step riders. Going to be playing a little different. We can already see 2 trading posts coming down, 1 on each trade route, 1 on the south side of his base, 1 on the north side of his base. And it looks like he's just going to be opening up with this step rider semi-FF instead, the straight FF. If you take a look at his coin total, certainly still going to be trying to get aged up here fairly soon, but perhaps reading into GoodSpeed's over-eager, aggressive starts and trying to abuse that with some of these cavalry units early in the game.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But I've played GoodSpeed a lot when he does this, and he the strategy Virginia Company itself is pretty atypical, but GoodSpeed has figured out how to play with it, how to not lose villagers with it, how to play defensively as well. He's just gonna get like 5 pegs out like right now and just completely shut down the shipment of 7 steppy riders.
Yeah, certainly the step riders, once the first military units come out of the barracks, are going to kind of be forfeited. However, I do still have concerns over the Virginia Company build. It kind of accentuates the issue that we were mentioning earlier with On this particular map, Brits don't have a ton of hunts.
Oh
And as
yeah,
a
for
result
sure.
of that, I mean, the more manors you build, the more villagers you train, the more villagers you get. Sure, your economy improves, but your economy only improves so long as you continue to have hunt to have those villagers gathering from. And if you take a look at the remaining hunts, right, he's got this hunt, which I think it's realistically easy to assume that he's going to be able to control that hunt.
Yeah.
Perhaps he'll be able to control this one equally as well. But look at the next hunt from there, right? I mean, we're starting to
It,
consider locations like this as his fourth and fifth hunt, which, yeah, I mean, there's nothing trivial about those locations to defend, especially if you have, a Chinese player who's ramping up into the fortress age to deal with at the same time. That could become problematic very early on here in this age 2, age 3 play, as GoodSpeed looks to run out of hunts fairly early on with this pretty aggressive boom style build he's going with.
yeah, I mean, GoodSpeed is really gonna run out of resources rather quickly. And to contrast that, we have Mongo, who has gotten, I see like 6 or 7 yak,
Yeah,
and he's fattening
Stamaniacs.
the livestock on the villages. Excuse me. That like Mongo is like also aging with the porcelain tower. So in terms of resource gathering, Mongo is in China City, really.
Yeah, I mean he's realistically not going to have to move out of his base. If you take a look at his hunt situation, he still has this one kind of back here. He's establishing himself a little bit in the central portion of the map as well. Has a village coming up. Has his war academy kind of placed in this choke as well, giving himself a little bit of vision here in the middle portion of the map. His hunt situation looks to be quite a bit better, and that's not necessarily because of an imbalanced map spawn. It's more just the style that these civilizations play and just how hunt dependent and how much food the Brit player is going to fly through in this early portion of the game. I do have some concern. The GoodSpeed, he's a long ways off aging. If you take a look at if you
Yeah,
take
the text being researched.
if you take a look at where he's at, I mean, he's halfway aged up right now. Brits, important to note, don't have a fast aging politician, and as a result, he still has 30% of his age up to complete. He still has to get all of the upgrades to make his units viable just in general, right? I mean, he has to research vet longbow, vet huss, vet musket, whatever of those upgrades he's going to decide to tech. He still has to research all those. And he has no Minutemen to help deal with this pressure all at the same time. This could be a very, very difficult timing for him to deal with.
Absolutely, and yeah, just GoodSpeed is playing something which is very slow, and versus Chinese, I want to say a fast fortress, which is actually fast in itself. So, like he's pulling the villagers to help block for these longbowmen, but is that going to be enough?
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be difficult. We do have the meteor hammers in here, causing quite a bit of havoc. The villagers trying to cause a little bit of a distraction. They do have the great code upgrade, so they are tanking quite a bit of damage, but several of them are falling over as well during all of this. Most of the longbows do stand strong in the back of this. Looks like he is going to keep most of them left alive. Does also still have a few pikes remaining here, which he could flip into cover mode and use to apply a little bit more defense. The monk being very, very annoying for Mongo,
Oh yeah.
right up in the face, likely in cover mode as well. And the pressure going to continue. Here comes another batch of Forbidden Army, sneaking its way in. More Disciples as well. Only a single batch of longbows out of each batch there for GoodSpeed, which is going to result in, truthfully, him losing most of these remaining units, and Mongo's not done here. 5
Oh
Meteor
wow.
Hammer just coming out from this forward village now.
And look at those villagers to the south, which are going to get like picked off. Like, I really do not like this. GoodSpeed has already lost quite a few villagers now.
Yeah, he resigns. He's out. I mean, he's effectively dead. Look at the remaining map as well. It's difficult for the Brit player at this point okay, first of all, he's going to lose a slew of villagers to the south of his base down here, right? I think we can both agree on that. But at the same time, even if he does get control, where is he going to be hunting? I mean, he has the remnants of this hunt here kind of in his base that's somewhat alive, but after that, I mean, his next hunt is a long, long ways away. He's already pulled himself through 2 full hunts, and realistically, he's a long, long way off securing another hunt. I think he's aware of that, and with the cavalry out for Mongo, elects just to resign. Taps out game number 1, going over to Mongo10.
Yep. Pretty. It was not. I think a sensible first choice, I suppose, but we'll see how GoodSpeed plays out the rest of the series. GoodSpeed does. Mongo does have to pick first right now.
That is correct. In map number 2, I'm going to hop back over here so we can see the map selection. I think map number 2 is Hudson Bay. So a pretty nice, balanced, higher hunt map. But unfortunately, GoodSpeed cannot play the British civilization. Maybe not planning out his civs the most appropriately here in this first set of games. Or in this first game. We'll have to see what he goes with. Well, I'll be curious to see what Mongo goes with as well, to be truthfully told.
Yeah. Because Mongo, I mean, imagine you're in Mongo's situation and you have the first pick. You don't want to get counterpicked. So what would you choose in this situation? Especially since China is like Mongo's go-to civ. It's his best civilization.
Yeah, I mean, this is the point where if you play a solid French, I think you just pick French because you're up a game. You feel confident. You've just won a game. Yeah, that's the right one. And for me, if I play a solid French, this is where I just pick French. Play a solid French, this is where I just pick French. And say to my opponent, I'm going to force you to be better than me right now because I'm up 1 game. And I know I get to counterpick you next civ. So this is the point where I think if you're Mongo, you pick French and you throw down the gauntlet and see if he'll mirror your French or whether or not he tries to do something cheeky like Dutch or something as a response.
On this map on Hudson Bay, I've actually talked to a few other players, and something I've picked up is that Portuguese are actually quite strong in Hudson Bay. They can take water. But not using an all-out fish boom. Rather, what you want to do is just slip in a couple of fishing boats into your build using schooners. I've seen H2O do this pretty efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
So that's perhaps a possible civ choice. But GoodSpeed is not a player who enjoys using water. In fact, I'm not even sure I've even seen him do it. Ever?
I can't recall the last time I've seen GoodSpeed play water, so it's been a long time. Mongo's going to take Russian. Certainly a dangerous civ selection. Russian has plenty of hard counters out there. Let's see if GoodSpeed knows one of them. I'd love to see GoodSpeed just play like Sioux or something like this.
Yeah, that's a pretty ballsy move from Mongo. And
yeah,
I think that Mongo has 2 civs which he really likes. Well, first off, the GoodSpeed locking in French.
Yeah.
Mongo really likes China and Russia. I'm not sure what he likes aside from that. My knowledge of players kind of falls off after that.
To be fair, I think this is a matchup that Mongo's going to be perfectly happy with, though. I mean, I mentioned, this is perhaps the time where you play French and you just force him to mirror you, but I don't know necessarily that this is such a horrible matchup. I mean, you could ask for far worse matchups as the Chinese or as the Russian player here in this matchup. It looks like Oh, there goes GoodSpeed. I just saw him.
There he goes.
I saw him disconnect, so I'm going to cancel the game here.
Pretty funky connection he's got right there, but
yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with him.
It seems to be related to ESO since we didn't have any problems during the actual game.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But yeah, French versus Russia. This is a matchup. You like it or you hate it, depending on which you're playing.
Yeah. So all right. So if you're the French player, do you like it or do you hate it?
Oh, believe me, I absolutely detest playing versus Russia.
Yeah, I do as well.
I'm not saying that they're an OP civ, that they're too strong, they need a nerf. Absolutely not. But the way the Russian civilization plays is a way which is quite strong versus me. I feel that I'm not even sure how to play versus Russia efficiently. I saw you review my replay yesterday, and we had like some good insight on that part. But we're in the game now. We have Mongo spawning to the east in the blue Russians, and perhaps you want to introduce the red player.
Yeah, GoodSpeed spawning on the left side of the map. Going to be playing the French civilization in the color red. Going to be picking himself a nice little wood treasure there as well to start off the game. And like you mentioned, Russian is not a civ that I like playing against either. You have to be very, very decisive with your moves. Russia is one of those civs that doesn't have to play by the book, right? They can kind of just do stuff and kind of just play on the fly, and it just kind of works. Sure, it helps if you have a builder, but their units fight in such a scrappy manner that they kind of thrive in controlled chaos, right? Where there's just lots of little fights, lots of little brawls, and pretty soon you find yourself in a 16-minute Age 2 colonial fight, and you're like, oh crap, how did I end up in this situation? I don't want to be in Age 2 this long as French, right? And going back to that replay that you submitted as well, it's kind of the same situation. You feel like you're always under constant threat because they have so many units. Even though those units aren't very strong, it always seems like they have just so much stuff, and you need to have, you know, a formulated response. When in reality, oftentimes what's the important thing to do is make sure you get a good Age 3 timing, and don't allow the Age 2 play to prolong for a very long time, or that just works into Russian's favor. We'll see whether or not GoodSpeed's able to identify a timing to get up, or maybe he just makes a ballsy play and just, you know, like straight semi-FFs off 5 cabs, something like that. Could be in the works as well, but we'll have to see. Mongo did open up fairly slow, does have a market down. GoodSpeed has himself a TP, so somewhat economic openings for both players.
Yeah. Mongo picked up 60 wood during all this, and both players are going for a 2 polar bear treasure, which are some pretty damn good treasures when you pick them up.
Yeah, this is a really strong one down here. 100 wood is currently what Mongo is working on. Where's GoodSpeed's Explorer? I don't see. Oh, there he is up here.
He's up north there. Yeah. Picking up 160 XP, so that's basically a shipment.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, if you factor into the situation, it takes 300 XP, I believe, to get your first shipment, which is, you know, a non-trivial amount. But when you factor in 160 XP, like you mentioned, I mean, that's well over half of a shipment. So, going to be able to pick that up here at 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and does have another shipment. I suspect he won't pick that up or use that just yet, but certainly that combined with the trading post is going to mean he's going to have a plethora of shipments available to him when he gets into the second age, and as a result, has a few more options as to what he can perhaps do with that XP.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, as an interjection would say.
Absolutely.
We have 125 wood here.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. Pretty nice little treasure.
But I'm not sure that Mongo has the HP on his Explorer to actually take that out. And Mongo with the blockhouse right off the bat.
Very aggressive.
So he is not kidding around at all.
I also like this. I don't know whether or not he identified this location earlier on to see where GoodSpeed had that trading post. But had GoodSpeed, you know, well, it looks like he's going to take the second trading post anyways, but had GoodSpeed started with this southern trading post and then maybe like taken his second trading post over here, Mongo would be split up a little bit more in terms of where he was going to apply pressure. But now this trading post gives him a very good place to task his first units, giving them something to do very early in the game. Assuming, you know, he builds 5 muskets, they'll immediately pop out right on top of that trading post and immediately begin to go to town on that thing, get it sieged down a little bit, and perhaps take it down before GoodSpeed's even able to get any sort of response out.
Well, I agree with that, but the question I'm asking, as you say that, is if Mongo takes the time to actually siege this down, because they're kind of beefy. I mean, they have 2,500 H hit points. if Mongo really takes the time to take down this TP, will he have time to hit GoodSpeed where it really matters, which is these villagers, his infrastructure?
Yeah.
Because GoodSpeed already has another TP behind this.
Yeah, and I mean, so realistically, Russian has kind of already, by default, gotten the French player to do what he wants. I mean, this is looking like GoodSpeed is going to end up playing in Age 2 for quite some time because he just opened with a barracks. He's going to see these 5 Cossacks, and he's going to have to build a decent amount of infantry. He's going to be built up in his town center. And certainly the Cossacks should be applying as much pressure as possible. But behind this, I have no problem with the muskets just sieging this thing down while the Cossacks apply pressure and keep everything built up. Because a good player, a player of GoodSpeed's caliber, isn't going to lose any CDB, especially with the 40% range resistance they have to a batch of 5 muskets. Realistically, your only real threat underneath his town center is going to be the Cossacks attempting to raid around. And the muskets, with their extra little bit of siege, are actually going to be pretty good at pulling down this TP. And if you can pull down both TPs and use the 5 Cossacks to harass and do some raiding pressure, I mean, hell, even look at, he forced an 8 crossbow shipment. That in itself, to me, feels like Russia is winning this exchange, at least winning the mental portion of the game.
Yeah, Russia kind of has the initiative. Forcing French to send 8 crossbowmen is something like France doesn't really want to do realistically. I mean, it's not that it's a bad shipment, it's that rather than sending units, you want to go ahead with your game plan.
Yeah.
And GoodSpeed can't really do that.
I mean, truthfully, GoodSpeed would like to be sending 700 coin, right, so he could age up. That's what every French player in the world wants to be doing with that 3rd shipment. But if you see 5 Cossacks, 10 Strellet, and 5 muskets marching towards your base, you're asking just to get your TC siege down, quite honestly, before anything actually happens. So 8 crossbowmen is an adequate response, and because he has the 2 trading posts up, and because he got that Bay XP treasure, he still is going to have 700 coin coming behind this, and he is going to age up. Yeah. And this is the important thing, right? Because what he can't do is he can't stick around too long in Age 2. And I'm glad to see that he is using that XP to leverage the advantage, going to work his way up into the next stage. And it's just going to be whether or not he can hold this timing pressure that Mongo's going to be putting on him.
Oh, yeah, but GoodSpeed moved out to sort of kill 2 Cossack, which were annoying this TP. And now he gets pushed back. By Mongo with his units.
It looks like Mongo's going to prioritize taking down the trading post, which I think is good. Certainly, the French player, what they're really going to need as he works his way into the next stage is shipments, right? He needs those impactful shipments. He needs 2 Falconets. He needs 3 Cuirassier. He needs 5 Dragoon. He needs 8 Skirm. He wants to get all of those units out. And one way that you can deny those, or at least slow them down, is by eliminating these trading posts. So Mongo just going to stick it out in Age 2. 74 Cossacks now going to continue to ramp up the pressure. And although, yes, GoodSpeed has found himself in the next stage, take a look at his research. Take a look at his resources. Take a look at his infrastructure. As the French player, he doesn't have a lot going for him. And now that he's lost these 2 trading posts, he's lost even more of his comeback mechanic, and as a result, not in a horrible position, but still, it feels a little bit awkward as the French at this point.
GoodSpeed is under a lot of pressure right now. Russia pushing into the base to really punish this age up, and I think that he will be able to do quite a lot of damage.
Yeah.
There is a shipment coming, so GoodSpeed is housed, and I'm not sure what that is, but it will have a pretty strong impact.
Yeah, I think it has to be 3 Cuirassiers. I think 2 Falconets just immediately gets killed. 5 Dragoons does pop out. Not necessarily the greatest thing in the world against all of the remaining ranged units that are currently present. And more Strellet coming in behind this as well. It looks like he is going to be able to push it back slightly. Does have the 4 skirmishers here as well that have been trained for the barracks. And for the time being, it looks like he's going to momentarily stabilize and be able to get outside of his base a little bit. But let's take a look at where his resources are currently. If you look at the next hunts that he's going to have to secure, those 2 hunts, I mean, I guess technically there's up here as well. but none of those locations are feeling overly safe whatsoever. And Mongo continuing to remass, taking a look at the military unit population, still has a pretty scary looking army behind this.
Absolutely, but those are Russian units, and they're like they aren't as good as the French units. Those are Strelets.
Yeah, they do have Boyars though, which is 15% HP, 15% attack.
Yeah, Russia definitely has that going for him, but I actually feel that the French player is in a pretty good spot right now. It's not a winning position, but at very least he does feel a bit more comfortable now than he did a few minutes ago.
I'm still concerned with where he's going to hunt next. We can see GoodSpeed has these 2 musk ox available to him. But behind this, I mean, it's safe to assume that the Russian player is going to just continue training Cossacks and Strelet. And how is he going to... I mean, sure, this army of skirmishers and ranged units feels pretty good when it's tucked behind the barracks, but how does that same army feel when it's standing out here in the middle of the map, getting surrounded by 20 upgraded Cossacks, right? I mean, that's when you have to really start to be concerned. So the skirm composition, absolutely agree, really good, really strong when it's standing right underneath its town center. But the second it's going to be forced to move outside of its base, which it looks like the time is going to be now. If Mongo's looking at the fog of the map, this is his time to strike and keep this contain up.
Yeah, absolutely. Russia with the contain. Basically, the outcome of this game will ride upon whether or not GoodSpeed is able to secure that hunt and these resources on the map.
Oh, dragoons, be careful.
Oh, the one dragoon getting picked off for free. That's never a good thing. A Coeur de Bois as well.
Yep.
Also died.
And this is where I start to feel awkward. I mean, the longer this goes, look at GoodSpeed's income, right? Look at the amount of food that he has. He's sitting at a fairly low amount of food, and this Cossack number is just going to continue and continue and continue to grow. And he doesn't have a stable. He's a long ways off getting a stable as well, right? I mean, if you take a look at his card progression, he's nowhere near getting a stable down at this point.
GoodSpeed is actually making halberdiers. As I have actually not seen this.
I mean, he knows the Cossacks are a threat, right? And he doesn't have the resources to make a stable. He's stretched too thin. I think at this point, his best bet would just to be research, blunderbuss, and great coat. And I think he's almost at the point where he's just got to pull vills and start fighting with his villagers, because this location is going to continue to be very difficult to contest. And I mean, here comes 2 vills, here comes the villagers. I think we're going to see that. I think combined with the villagers and the 2 falconets, that might be just what he needs to be able to continue this push.
Oh, wow. This is getting tense.
Here it
the
comes.
Falconets. Oh, those volleys, okay. Pretty good first volleys, and the halberdier is actually blocking the Cossacks. Those trees are really helping GoodSpeed as well.
Yeah, the Halb's in a great spot. Looks like a couple of the Cossacks are going to get flanked around the side here. A couple more Cossacks getting up in front of the skirmishers as well. Still a lot of HP left alive on this one Falconet. Looks like it is going to be focused down now. Not quite. Still does live. A couple Strelets coming up. Yeah, great volleys though, and one of the Falconets is going to live with 8 hit points remaining. And the most important thing behind all of that is GoodSpeed is rewarded with this hunt.
Oh man, that was actually quite a tense fight in the Falconet living. Oh, there he is.
As you say that, the Falconet getting picked off. More Strela coming out of this forward blockhouse. GoodSpeed not out of the woods just yet. He's a long ways off having another shipment, and he's still, I mean, this is the point where you have to fight against the scrappiness that it is Russia as well, right? He's got the 2 blockhouses adding in that extra 30 ranged attack. Here do come 3 cursors for GoodSpeed, but he still has to kind of fight against all this scrappiness. More Cossacks coming in.
Look at those vills going down though.
Yeah, French
feels, actually lost them.
Yeah, French feels like he's in an okay spot actually.
10 Strelets popping out right in front of the 10 Cuirassiers, as I'd say with my French. Just really a solid position for GoodSpeed right here, I feel.
He feels like he's in a pretty good spot. Mongo forced to be fighting with some villagers. 2 of these remaining veteran halberdiers as well. applying a little bit of pressure to the villagers. Looks like the Corsair is going to be able to chase most of the remaining villagers back to their town center, and all of a sudden, Mongo is looking to be the one on the back foot. Miniman coming forward from him for the town center, losing one of these blockhouses, the second one beginning to take quite a bit of siege damage here as well. And all of a sudden,
Musketeers getting donated. Oh, there we go.
and there's
Mongo
GG.
actually taps out. Wow. That was a pretty interesting game. A short but exciting game.
Yeah, that was very intense, and I think GoodSpeed made very solid decisions. Right, he got aged up, and I think so many people would hesitate to pull the trigger to age up. It's very difficult to age up, but you absolutely need to do it. If you don't have the skirmishers, you don't have the dragoons, you don't have the 2 falconet shipment, you're never going to be able to break this contain. But he pulled the trigger, he got aged up, and he made that one timing push out. Once he got the 2 falconets, they got some great volleys off. Was able to get the halberdiers wedged in between the trees in such a way that he was really able to deal with the Cossacks quite efficiently. And as a result, is able to take game number 2 and bring the series all tied up 1 game apiece.
Absolutely, and it just goes back to what you were saying at the start of the game. You need to be decisive versus Russia.
Yep.
And GoodSpeed was actually just that. It's just solid decision making throughout the game. Just a treat to watch, especially since he's my clanmate.
Someone in chat saying match of the day because of halberdiers.
Absolutely. Well, I believe that, well, in my personal opinion, halberdiers are actually a pretty underused unit.
I mean, GoodSpeed did not have a lot of food. He didn't have a stable either, right? He didn't have a lot of food, and he didn't have a stable. Realistically, yeah, everyone would love to have dragoons in that situation, but if all you have is a barracks and you're locked down on your food count, well, then maybe you're forced. Maybe you're forced into an awkward situation where you make some halbs.
And something to keep in mind is that halberdiers actually enjoy fighting goons as opposed to goons, so they can absolutely body block those cannons and prevent the Cossacks from coming in too close, which is exactly what we saw.
Yep.
So I'm pretty happy to see not only GoodSpeed taking the fight, but also showcasing that halberdiers actually have a place.
This isn't the right map. I can give it to them if they need.
Oh shit.
Fighting Frenchman messaging me and asking if I can shout out his podcast. He's currently on episode 3. If you want to check it out, it's at soundcloud.com/revolt podcast. They do an Age of Empires 3 podcast. Give it a listen. See what happens. It could be interesting. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Check them out.
Fighting Frenchmen, or the Basement Crew, they deserve a shout out. They have a lot of passion for the game. They like to liven things up a bit on the ESOC forums. So
yeah, the ear and the eyeball and those guys. I see them every once in a while.
Yeah. They're good. They're good folks. A bit trollish sometimes,
but they mean well, which is the important thing.
Sure. But yeah.
Game number 3, going to be on High Plains, and now all of a sudden GoodSpeed's in the position where he gets to counterpick. No, Mongo's in the position where he gets to counterpick.
Absolutely.
And have we seen Mongo play auto before? Is that true?
I think yeah. Maybe I should refresh my memory, but I think Mongo is an Ottoman player as well. Ottoman, Russia, China.
Let's take a look at his home city, see if he's got anything that sticks out as a civ that's high level. Chinese obviously is up there. He's got a level 112 auto city, 118 Japan, and 123 Brit. So
yeah, I stand corrected. I just checked the L rating, and it's actually China, French, and Russia, which are his go-to civs in 1v1. So we'll see what he picks up. Ottoman is a pretty interesting choice. I think a lot of people actually underestimate the power of Otto on the ESOC patch. At least economically, I think they have a lot of unexplored options.
Yeah, certainly could be good. I'm trying to give Mongo the map, but he's not joining.
He'll get there. He'll get there.
Come on, Mongo, we believe in you.
However, Ottoman units are a bit different from on ESOC compared to what they are on Robot Entertainment. Jans have a little bit less HP, and I know a few players who absolutely hate that change because Jans just become just a little less tanky, and I think a lot of Ottoman play really relies on Janissaries being a good unit.
Yeah. Perhaps a little bit much so. It forces them to use things like Hussar a little bit more, perhaps. I'll have to see. If it were me, I think I would probably be picking German, but I don't know that we've seen Mongo play much or any German, so
They aren't the hardest civ to play or to. I think
to
so.
learn to play, yeah.
Chat mentioning that High Plains is GoodSpeed's map, since he is always high. Leave that right there.
Also worth noting, when we were doing Fan Patch 1.2 and we played about 6 million games on AS New Great Plains, I mean, they're not the same map, but in terms of like openness and strategic decisions, they're similar in many ways.
I would say that High Plains is the spiritual successor to Great Plains, so GoodSpeed should feel comfortable playing here. Absolutely,
yeah, it's his map, I think, in more ways than one. All right, come on, Mongo, you can do it.
But he's in your game right now.
He's in the game. He's in the game. I had the map selected, and he said it's somehow not loading. So I've reselected it, and now we'll see if it somehow is loading for him. How about now? Can I get a status update, Mongo10?
Perhaps you should take the time to also give him the other maps. It should be a little break for the players, a little break for the viewers.
Sure. Alright, he's got it now. Oh, before I could even get a chance, he pieced on out.
Mongo is very impatient. He wants to get the next game going. I can't blame him.
He wants to get the next victory. Because I think he knows if he wins this game, he's back to playing in China.
Yeah, absolutely. But how many more? He has to win 2 more games. So if he wins this game, yeah, indeed, he gets to match point for him with his favorite civilization. So
with his favorite civilization on a non-TP map, which I think he'll be happy about.
What is the next map? It's Cascade Range?
Cascade Range, yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah. That map especially. A lot of unique maps here with just different ways you have to apprehend these maps in order to be successful. But in a way which is actually a bit balanced, in my opinion.
Alright, Mongo's hosted up. We're in. Let's see what the civs are. Selected. GoodSpeed will have to choose his civilization first.
Yeah, he has to choose civilizations which are not French or Brits.
That's correct.
What will he pick right here? I'm curious to see this. He might go Aztec. I don't know.
I feel like if you play Germany, I mean, the map begs for some German play as well. There it is.
Oh, there you go. Good call. Germany. How do you counterpick Germany? Well, you don't.
I think you play Germany yourself. If you're Mongo, either that or you try and do something cheesy with like an Abus, Gen Abus all in or a Durex Gen. No, he's going to be playing French.
Can he play? Wait, no, GoodSpeed play.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
He can play French. Yep, and it looks like he's clicked in with it. He selected the French civilization, and the matchup for game number 3 between GoodSpeed and Mongo10 will be French versus German.
A pretty even matchup.
Yeah,
as far as I know. The matchup can really go both ways, depending on how it's played out. So this should be really a treat to watch.
Yeah, it should be a good matchup. I also do want to commend the tournament admins for the rule set this time around. I love the fact that we're seeing so many more non-mirrored matchups. Before, when it was like we just pick civs until we both agree on a matchup, it pretty much ended up just being mirror city, mirror after mirror after mirror after mirror. And I really like this rule set where the players alternate who gets to choose their civilization second, and makes for some good non-mirror matchups, which I think is more enjoyable from a viewer standpoint to watch.
But I think that even like I posted this a bit on the forum, so the ideas are fresh in my head. But these rules also reward the player who has a better overall understanding of how the civs interact with each other. There are a few really obvious counter picks which you can try to exploit with these rules. But if you pick a matchup which you are familiar with, but isn't necessarily a straight-up counter pick, then you can have an advantage in that way. But it goes through research and, oh, is that a TP?
Yeah. Oh, wow. A TP war, both players, yeah. Going for that middle TP. And it looks like Mongo did get there just a hair earlier at GoodSpeed. GoodSpeed going to be forced to take a quick little journey down south here and find himself a different trading post to build on.
And I think that Mongo is going to bring his scout to start pestering GoodSpeed's Explorer.
Yeah, and he won't be able to straight out deny it, but he will at least be able to apply some pressure and, maybe even gain some knowledge of the fact that GoodSpeed has started off this treasure.
Oh man, this could actually be so brutal because Mongo has gotten his TP up and GoodSpeed has not. Mongo has his native scout, which is annoying GoodSpeed's Explorer, and GoodSpeed is losing HP here. I really actually think that Mongo could kill GoodSpeed's Explorer.
It's going to be
very close. Wow, this is going to be.
GoodSpeed does pick up the treasure. Fortunately for him, he is going to get it. Unfortunately for him, he is likely going to lose his Explorer as a result. And not going to be able to build a trading post as well, which I think is maybe even more impactful. Yeah, we can already see the immediate market response going down in its stead. Fortunately, he does have this 50 coin treasure, so the transition is going to be pretty smooth to be able to get hunting dogs instead. But going to drop his Explorer down, and let's quickly introduce the players, just for people who may be watching.
That all happened
there was like so much excitement right from the start that we didn't even, like, both players sprinted to the middle of the map and immediately started fighting. We didn't even have 30 seconds to introduce the players. But spawning down on the south side of the map, the green German player, GoodSpeed, and his opponent in the upper right side of the map, playing in the 2 o'clock position, is the French civilization in the color blue, Mongo10. A wet and wild start to this game. A little bit of TP action. We had a native scout killing ourselves a European explorer. All sorts of fun little things going on. And yes, poor I
want to say dot because U in French is O, so dot. I have no idea. What is Mongo's Explorer? Jacques Joliet.
Yeah, he's got like one of the like the default ones, like ES take the wheel, like you pick my name.
That's pretty boring, but boring did pick up 70 XP.
Yep.
So he's in a pretty commanding position right now.
Yeah.
It's being forced off that TP. I mean, that's actually that could have been a lot huger than it was, but it's still pretty good for Mongo.
I mean, it's going to slow GoodSpeed down significantly, right? He gathered the extra wood to build the trading post. He then lost his Explorer. He's going over there to pick him up now, but still, a very slow, painful process. He's going to be able to go over there and build it. What happened?
Turn on Fog of War and look at the villager right here. He missed this hunt. which is in the fog of war. He was looking for it with the villager.
Oh, I wonder if he probably thinks he's like map screwed or something at this point. When truthfully he's really not. He's got plenty good hunts. I suspect that hunt will find its way into line of sight of his town center at some point, and he'll realize it. But yeah, maybe a little bit of a misstep there, not seeing that hunt in the backside of his base.
This game is already action packed. Mongo Scout has once more found GoodSpeed's Explorer. He won't be able to deny this TP, but that Explorer is going to die once more.
Yep, most certainly is. And it's the 45 XP you get each time from killing it's not negligible as well, right? I mean, at some point you have to consider the fact that your opponent's going to have gotten an extra 90 XP just from killing your Explorer twice, so that's like a fairly good-sized treasure in itself. So nice little pickups there, but
Mongo has two shipments ready right now. Back-to-back shipments in Colonial upon aging up. That's what Mongo's going to get.
Yeah, and we'll see what Mongo does elect to do, whether or not he just throws down a stable and decides to, I suspect, just do some sort of stable opening, or maybe he's got something more economic or aggressive on his mind. We'll have to see. Second trading post coming down for him currently, and a barracks, it looks like, going to be the tech structure of choice. And there he goes. He's identified the hunt, realized that, in fact, he's not only is he not hunt screwed, he's actually got really good hunts. And GoodSpeed throwing down a stable. Looks like he's going to be doing a fairly standard Cav semi-FF in this situation as well.
I would say that Mongo has managed to herd this bison into his base, but that's only one hunt. I think ideally you'd like to have two hunts in close to your town center. And GoodSpeed is playing Germans, so the two Ulan will be able to pull off a few raids right here.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you always have to consider, right? I mean, it's not... When you're playing against Germany, it's not, am I going to get raided? Like, is he going to make Cav? It's when am I going to be raided? And when do I have to deal with the Cav? Because the Cav are a guaranteed facet of the German gameplay. And like you mentioned, I mean, these two Ulans coming out with the first Age 2 shipment with 3 settler wagons, as it were, is something that Mongo is going to have to deal with. And absolutely, I mean, this hunt has not been very well controlled. We can see it looks like it's perhaps even been shot the incorrect direction one time, perhaps, and is a long way from getting home. He's got this safe bison, like you mentioned, but everything else is still pretty far. And look, he's just going to abandon it. He's bringing the villagers in.
Yeah, and that's I think the correct call right here. It's better to have them in without the hunt herded in than 2 dead bills. Something pretty interesting is that GoodSpeed is going for a pretty big raid here, and Mongo is pushing his TP at the same time.
Yeah, we can see Mongo is loading up on TPs, right? He's doubling down on the TP line.
Is he going ATP? Yes, he is. It's not ATP. He's going Stagecoach.
Yeah, he's already got Stagecoach researched. And in fact, that gives him even more incentive to pull down this remaining trading post. Looks like GoodSpeed is going to find this this Explorer, not in time, unfortunately, not in time to deny it, as it does get up this trading site just before the Stagecoach does pass by. But this is going to be close as well, whether or not he's going to be able to siege it down in time. Nope, GoodSpeed's going to get one last drop of resources over there as well. But Mongo has secured the entirety of the trading post line for himself, and we'll see whether or not that has any impact as we continue our way forward. Both players are working their way into the next stage. Mongo is aging with the Exiled Prince. Important to note, GoodSpeed is aging with a slow age politician. He is aging with the Marksman, which will grant him 6 skirmishers upon reaching the Fortress Age, but is going to slow down his descent into the 3rd age as well. So we'll have to see whether or not that plays any impact.
I'm not sure I like that decision.
No, I absolutely don't as well, especially due to the fact that he has a shipment ready and waiting, and it feels like he's just going to start falling behind. If you take a look at the military units, there's 15 muskets out for Mongo. There's going to be a shipment available to him here very, very soon. And GoodSpeed, I mean, now he's a long, long ways off getting another
Oh, look at
another
that.
shipment. Little musket
Uh,
raid.
yeah, hold that thought. These musketeers are going down. This is just a cost-efficient trade for GoodSpeed at this point.
Yeah. Wants to be careful not to lose too many
Oh, yeah,
Ulans here. One
ouch.
does go down. Two
Two,
through.
three, oh, four, ouch.
I mean,
So that's not as good as it could have been,
pick off the
I
low
think.
HP one, Mongo. If he can get that low HP one, this is something worth his time. Did force a Minutemen call as well. Killed 3 or 4 Ulans. I mean, not the best way to spend Musketeers, but realistically, he's not going to be upgrading those anytime soon. He wants to be making Skarm and Goon when he's in the 3rd age anyways. And trading off some of those muskets for some of the cav, even if they're unupgraded cav, I think is a worthwhile venture for Mongo at this point. Had he gotten that one other low HP cav, trading 8 muskets for 4 Ulans and slowing your opponent down even more, forcing him to call Minutemen, especially when GoodSpeed's used the slow agent politician, he's probably going to be on the back foot. Not having Minutemen, especially full HP Minutemen, is kind of a big deal here for GoodSpeed as well. So,
Yeah, and something else. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I cut you off.
No.
Sorry about that, but something I just want to underline is that if you select shipment sent in the UI, you can see that Mongo is up 3 shipments over GoodSpeed.
Yeah.
That is, oh my, whoa. GoodSpeed is going industrial. Oh my god.
Is he really?
He is.
Let's take a look at. He's currently on the way up, using the Cavalry Marshal. It's time to play Age of Empires 3 trivia time. What does the Cavalry Marshal give you? I'm assuming it's Ulans. I don't know how many it is.
How can you see that?
I don't believe that you can.
Okay.
You can see it's the Cavalry Marshal by just clicking on the tech and the tab, but.
All right. Actually, this is a pretty surprising decision. I'm not sure if it's actually a bad one. Well, I mean, GoodSpeed is already behind in like pretty much every way possible at this point. And I think that one big risky play might be his ticket back into his game. Yeah. I'm not sure if it'll pay out, but it will be worth checking out.
I'm fairly certain this is going to be very high risk, and it concerns me greatly. If you look at the hunt situation for GoodSpeed, he has not managed to get this hunt back to his base. He has 4 pronghorn back here, which are relatively safe, true. But very soon, we do have to consider Germany runs out of coin very early on. One coin mine, 300 coin. The other coin mine, 1,100 coin. The next coin mine, the next hunt, all of this out here, he has to try and control. And if you look at the military unit population, I'm not certain how he's going to accomplish that.
Yeah, this is a tough situation for the German player, but he is in industrial age. We have to keep that in mind. And Mongo is going in very hard at the moment.
Yeah, but he's got a pretty good composition to be able to deal with this. Lots of Dragoons. The Ulans aren't upgrading in any way, so they're dropping down pretty quickly.
Yeah, but you know what I'm afraid of right now? It's the Hussar shipment, which Germany gets.
Has he? Well, does he have it in his deck? I mean, he's sent some card from his deck, right? And if we take a look at, he does have the 10 Polish Hussars in his deck. I mean, it's something that Mongo's got to be aware of. But even if, I mean, he's aware of it, I don't know that it's maybe in itself enough to win the game. 2 more War Wagons going to be dropping down here to these skirmishers. And yeah, maybe he gets it out, which, yeah, okay, here it is. I mean, the 10 Polish Hussars are out. But truthfully...
Well, those guys are strong.
Yeah.
Those guys are pretty good units.
Right, I mean, they're very good units. 480 hit points. Tons of attack. I mean, they're really, really good units, no doubt about it. But is he going to have the map control to be able to follow this up? That's my main concern still moving forward here. Yeah,
Mongo is just streaming in units, rallying units. This is a parade push for Mongo.
Yeah, I mean, well, and look at what he's got behind this, right? He's still, we have to remember, he's French, he's got market upgrades, and he's got stagecoach TP. I mean, his economy behind this is absolutely bonkers. It's ridiculous how good his economy is behind this. Sure, GoodSpeed's going to have the ability to do something like send a factory or something like that, but GoodSpeed doesn't have a trading post, so his next shipments are going to be very slow. He's not going to be able to sustain shipments in the fourth age for forever. And I mean, look at his cards. He's got 13 Ulan, 2 heavy cannon, 12 skirms, 9 dops, all great cards, no doubt. But can he make use of them without the XP? And I'm afraid the answer might be no.
Yeah, GoodSpeed is he has managed to survive, which is something which is absolutely commendable at this point. But is it going to be enough?
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Taking a look at the military population, 45 to 45 now is the 9 Doppelsundner card does pop out. Still no upgrades on those Dops, so they are age 2 equivalents essentially, but it is still a decent number of Dops, effectively 2 batches. So it is worth mentioning, at least he does have that. But Mongo continues to run all over the map. More and more Dragoons. He's got good things like cavalry combat coming for him. Looks like we're going to have a little bit more of an engagement here. Polish Hussars catching the Cuirassiers, everything up in front. A big batch of war wagons coming out as well. Things are not looking too poorly for GoodSpeed, but the Dragoon count here, and remember, these Dragoons do have cavalry combat backing them up. They are quite strong. Is still quite concerning for GoodSpeed. How is he going to deal with this very large mass of veteran Dragoons? Still quite concerning, and the even more concerning thing is he's still running out of resources. He doesn't have a ton of resources in base, and as a result, very soon, couple games here. I'm also unsure whether or not I should be the liability that's going to cast the next set of games. Mito versus Ramix is slated to start after this match, and given the present situation with my PC, I don't know if it's super advisable that I stream it from my point of view, but we'll see if anyone else is available after this. Otherwise, I guess we'll roll the dice and
yeah, we'll have to ask the stars if they'll help us out here. Because,
yeah.
But we'll see what happens. Who's up? Who's up next? If anyone else is. What time is it?
So, I mean, it's getting a little bit late. Getting on there in time a little bit.
Oh, it's fine. I have some exams tomorrow, but I'll be fine.
All right. So it looks like Mongo's selected India as his next civ. For everyone wondering. Keep your fingers crossed for me. Hope that my PC can stay alive for the remainder of this series, and we don't miss any more epic gameplay. Looks like Mongo has selected the Indian civilization.
That's a pretty surprising choice. Oh wait, isn't GoodSpeed supposed to pick first here?
It goes every other. So Mongo won game 1, so he had to select first in games 2 and 4, so this is correct.
Yeah. No, I'm the one who's being a bit lazy in the way I'm thinking. Yep, absolutely.
Brits, the selection for GoodSpeed. Of course, it is a best of 5. He does have the option to select the British civilization.
Please don't take Brits on this map.
And it looks like he is going to select it. It has been selected. He does probably still have the option to switch should he want.
Yep. We'll have to see if he does. I would probably not advise using Brits on this map.
I mean, it does have some. I mean, it's somewhat low hunt-ish once again, which Brit doesn't really like. But it does have the kind of the nice thing going for it that it is a non-TP map, and Brits traditionally do fairly well on non-TP maps as well. So,
and GoodSpeed has greened in with the British civilization, so he will be going with that choice.
Yep. It's going to be India versus Brit, Mongo versus GoodSpeed. This is game number 4 in this best of 5 series. Mongo is currently up 2-1. Should he win this game, he will advance to the round of 8, to the quarterfinals, I guess, as it were, where he will meet a player to be named yet. And we'll see what happens. Spawning in the bottom right side of the map in the color blue, playing the Indian civilization, currently up 2-1, is Mongo10. And his opponent spawning in the upper left-hand side of the map, playing the green British civilization, none other than GoodSpeed.
The man himself.
The man himself, going to be playing himself a little bit of Barits. Perhaps we'll see what ends up happening here. We'll see. Looks like Mongo not going to be doing any sort of 10-10 action, at least not immediately. If I were Mongo, I mean, this would be a chance where, you know, you had to pick your civ first. Maybe you're not confident in the map. It's a non-TP map. You know that you get to play, if you want, China next. I would have thought maybe this were a chance where we see some sort of cheeky all-in build from him. But it looks like he's going to stick to his guns and going to stay true to the macro-style play, and looks like he's going to play it out in a pretty traditional India fashion. Chopping a bunch of wood, picking up a nice little wood treasure, and training villagers.
GoodSpeed also picked up 40 wood, and Mongo has scattered this one down here. So, as of right now, Mongo is poised to take 80 wood in age 1, and GoodSpeed, not quite, only getting 40 at the present time. Oh, he's going to actually find this one as well. So, on this map, the only thing I'm looking for are these wood treasures.
Yeah, lots of these little 40 wood treasures on this map. They're not exactly trivial for the India player to take either, just because those grizzly bears are actually pretty beefy, 300 hit points on them, and they do have 10 hand attack as well. So as a result, the Indian monk does get a bit low taking them, but looks like he's going to be able to pick up his second one here, and also picking up a nice little muskrat treasure there as well. So everything looking good for Mongo, and he has actually transitioned some villagers off of wood. I wonder if perhaps he is going to try and get some sort of a slightly faster age up in here as a result of that.
Yeah, that's adjusting your build just slightly. He only has 2 on wood at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's going to gather up that extra 100 wood to be able to train one more villager, and then do like a 13 or 14 pop age up. We can see one villager working his way forward now, and I think that's to be advised. I mean, certainly Brits is a civ, especially a player like GoodSpeed, who interestingly enough has not sent Virginia Company this time around, has elected to send 3 villagers. I was going to say, if you know the tendencies of GoodSpeed is to do stuff like, I don't know, ship Virginia Company as your first card with Brits quite frequently, maybe you can try and, you know, get into his head a little bit, play really aggressively, and catch him off guard. But looks like Mongo is putting that villager pretty far forward. And we'll soon have the resources to put down the Agra Fort, and there it goes. Agra Fort right in the middle of the map, kind of splitting these trade posts in half.
Something I want to point out is that GoodSpeed found an extra 40 wood treasure. So he found 120 wood in the first stage versus Mongo, who took only 80. Just want to point that out because that is an extra mana, and GoodSpeed is not going for Virginia Company. I'm actually quite thankful for that.
I think
I'm a bit biased, as he is my clanmate and a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And I want him to win, but I just want to say I'm quite happy that he's not opting for Virginia Company on the map with so few hunts.
Yeah.
I'm going more for those standard British bread and butter style.
I mean, at this point, he's going to have to, right? I mean, take a look at his hunts. He's got this hunt back over here, which is fine, but other than that, I mean, then his next hunts, you know, you have to start getting out into positions like this to get your next real hunts. Certainly, there are some berries and stuff is available to you as well on this map, but it's not the most trivial resources to begin to. Oh no, you know what we're seeing? I think we're seeing.
I see.
Yeah, we're seeing the consulate 300 export. This is going to be a very aggressive build here by Mongo.
And is GoodSpeed going to identify? I don't think he will, because this explorer is scanning through Mongo's base. Perhaps he can pick up on the fact that there isn't a market.
There's no market, yeah. I mean, if I'm GoodSpeed and I don't see a market here, I'm immediately wondering what's up, because India, in their standard, most normal style of play, has a market in their base 9 times out of 10. which is something that if I don't see is immediately a red flag with GoodSpeed with that pass through. This is certainly a point where Mongo should be having a market in his base, and we'll see whether or not that prompts any sort of scan through the middle portion of the map as well, whether or not he decides to take a look and see whether or not his opponent is doing anything in the middle of the map. 2 barracks are down for GoodSpeed. Of course, this 500 food that he ages up with quite frequently is going to help alleviate some of the burden of training longbows and pikes out of these 2 barracks, which I think safe to assume are the units that he's going to be producing. And I think it's just a matter of time before we see Mongo ship that 300 export, ally with the British civilization, and could have a very strong musket timing push in mind here.
But GoodSpeed with a few longbows in queue, so that's reassuring. He already has 10 out, so I'm thinking that he should be in a pretty good position to hold this. And even if he hasn't explicitly scouted it yet, he's seasoned enough as a player to figure out something's up.
Yeah, all of the warning bells are probably going off in GoodSpeed's head at this point in the game, signaling him to question what's going on. Certainly, I think that's got to be true. But Mongo has allied with the British civilization. We'll see those redcoat musketeers coming out here fairly early on. There they are. And we'll see whether or not Mongo waits for one more shipment or whether or not he pushes right now. If you take a look at the military units currently out on the floor, about even, but these musketeers are very strong for the British player. We have to consider the fact that these sepoy have 209 hit points and 25 ranged attack. That's pretty out of this world.
It's extremely strong at the 6-minute mark to have that. On the other hand, we do have GoodSpeed with quite a few longbowmen out, and I think that if he's able to pretty much position them behind the town center, they should be put in a spot where they're relatively safe. So I would say that this is a pretty even situation at this point. We'll have to see what happens with these 2 players.
Here come the Sours. The Pike's a little bit out of position here, moving up to be able to get in position. Looks like Mongo just going to be running everything up in here. One of the elephants is going down, but here it comes. The Musketeers raining hell from above. The Sours caught out a little bit out of position, taking a lot of damage, losing muscle. This cover mode Pike's going to be able to soak a lot of damage here. And it looks like GoodSpeed, so far so good, has eliminated most of these cav. In fact, all of the cav now have dropped, and now is using these Pikes very effectively to soak a lot of the damage that Mongo is trying to put out here, and getting loads of kills with these longbows as a result. And I think this is something that GoodSpeed certainly has to be quite happy with, quite pleased that he's able to hold this pressure and lives to see another day.
He has absolutely pushed these units away. The British players in a pretty good position. In fact, I'm actually afraid that for the aggro fort at this point, there are quite a few pikemen now.
Yeah, that certainly is true. 6 longbow coming from GoodSpeed here as well. If he trains another 10 pikes is his next match. Let's take a look at the military units in queue. Yes, there are pikes in queue 2 currently, which signals to me that perhaps going to be getting another big batch of 10 pikes out, combined with those 6 longbow from the shipment. Absolutely, this Agrafort and the corresponding console to go with it are under a lot of pressure here, and we'll see whether or not Mongo's able to formulate any sort of response to be able to deal with this very strong counter-aggression that GoodSpeed currently has going for him.
This is a really good position for GoodSpeed. I actually think that
Mongo may just be dead.
Yeah, Mongo just doesn't have anything behind this. He has to be quite fair, he's only 2 villagers behind, but if you look at the infrastructure which he's actually losing, and GoodSpeed now is in a position to push out on the map and start taking the hunts. I just really want to favor the British player's position.
Yeah, longbow stepping their way forward. There is a stable up back in India's base. Has trained a few additional Sours out of that, but like you mentioned, oh, please don't tell me it's me again. Thank God. If it was going to...
Those are things which happen a lot more often. So we're gonna have to see how this pans out. What do you think of this matchup? Actually, is it even favored for China, favored for Japan?
I think it's favored for China, but I think Japan's also pretty weak right now. I mean, you even saw earlier today I played Sue against Japan, and it wasn't close at all. I
Yeah,
think
I was actually quite surprised. I was thinking to myself, what is Ryan thinking? Picking Sue and
I
Aquadation,
wanted him to take Japan actually. I was hoping he would fall for the bait.
and he did.
He did.
That was actually pretty surprising. But I guess we have to introduce the players now. Mongo and GoodSpeed.
Ooh, no UI. We have to go back.
Oh, snap!
This is what happens because I always end up being the guy who like subs in, you know. So, all right, overlay will be gone. I promise. It's just up now, so that way I can
Don't worry about that. Yeah.
maintain some degree of privacy in my life.
Absolutely. The overlay is known for protecting privacy.
There's nothing exciting on my desktop, really. Just a whole bunch of Age of Empires launching icons.
We know you have to hide those map hacks.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit of banter going on right here. Oh.
All right, see, I even turned it off already, so you guys can watch the APM as I log in here. Oh, I probably went too fast. I'm gonna invite Jim to this call, and he can just sit there muted.
All right.
In case something happens, like the overlay.
If there's an overlay issue, I'm sure we'll hear about it. It should be good. All right.
That's gonna be a joke I'm not gonna be able to get away from though.
Don't worry about it. Everyone has those. Well, basically, you wouldn't have those that joke running on you if you did nothing. So
Yeah,
the way I
exactly.
see it, things were casting on such short notice.
I'm not bothered by it. I find it funny. Anyway, yeah.
So we're finally in Mongo versus GoodSpeed. Want to introduce them?
Yeah, sure. So we have Mongo10 spawning on the right-hand side of the map here as the blue Chinese, starting with that standard 300 wood, 200 food start that we are so used to seeing. On the other half of the map, we have Japan opening with what's good for him actually, a 300 wood start and then all food crates. So you know, the best possible opener for Japan. His explorers just kind of fanning out and on the hunt for treasures. So yeah, both
So
players.
already GoodSpeed is pretty much favored by the starting crates. So that's good for him, since you already said that this matchup was kind of favored for China. We'll have to see how GoodSpeed plays things out, though.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, actually, China always starts with the same crates, always 200 food and 300 wood. So when you get a wood crate start against China, you're actually just getting an advantage. You know, it's a little bit of randomness, actually.
Yep.
But Mongo picking up a villager right out the gate here, that's going to be really helpful for him. Obviously, at this time in the game, a villager is very impactful, and it's even going to hurt this hunt.
Oh yeah, even GoodSpeed taking note of that with ouch. But the GoodSpeed did scout this corridor well up here, and it's only guarded by 4 black bears, which aren't that difficult to take out.
The question, I think he'll probably go for that too, because he could go for this 95 wood alternatively, but he doesn't need that wood right now. He's already got a shrine on the way. It just depends on if he wants to get risky and just take the 95 wood, because you know it's more likely he'll find it, the Chinese player. So if he wants to gamble a bit, he can kind of come just take the 95 wood and then head back here later. We'll see.
I would. Well, it looks like GoodSpeed is actually going to take that gamble, and he's going to pick up the 95 wood right now.
Yeah, I like that with the way the Chinese explorer is so far away right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Mongo 2, the complete south of the map, and GoodSpeed is going to be able to take this without any hassle. And Mongo just taking a beeline to the north here. I'm not sure what he's scouting. Maybe this 70 wood,
It's a
70
food, yeah. Yeah, he was coming up to check the top, but then his disciple found this. And I think this might actually end up hurting him a little bit because he's going to give Goodspeed that time to set up on the 4 bear treasure, the CDB.
Yeah, the CDB.
Is he going to go for it?
Oh, GoodSpeed, why would you not go for it? Well, to be fair,
Yeah.
GoodSpeed isn't quite sure where Mongo is, so maybe he's thinking if I start this treasure and I get scouted, I'm going to be in a bad spot.
Yeah. It's so far back, though, you almost want to take that chance. Maybe he also didn't see it, I don't know. But either way, Northern Refugees coming in now for Mongo, so he's got his builds up and running, and he'll be aging soon here, really. So.
Yeah, picking up the food treasures really help speed things up in China. For
Yeah.
both cities, really.
Yeah, both. That's the thing about the Asian civs you've mentioned. You know, every bit of wood and food in the early game helps Japan and China age up faster. So.
All right, both players, no, just GoodSpeed actually aging up at the moment, and Mongo gonna follow him up like right now.
Yep.
Treasure contention right here looks like, or is it? No, they're just really fighting at this point, and
I'm surprised GoodSpeed flaked out so fast.
Yeah, GoodSpeed getting pushed away from that treasure, and Mongo's starting to bully these monks a bit. It's hard to favor one player over the other at this point.
Yeah, I feel like that exchange is good for Mongo. Anytime that you know where the Japanese explorers are is generally a good time for you. Like if you look at GoodSpeed's wood, you know he's got enough wood to drop multiple shrines, but he's actually sent a vill over here, which is quite surprising to me that he would send a vill that far to shrine up. But
oh yeah, that's a lot of idle villager time. I'm not sure I like that decision. It would have been maybe better to have this guy escape to the town center and sort of move back up.
Ooh, I think he's just mistaken his rally point, and that's why
ouch,
those out
ouch,
there.
ouch.
Maybe he's going for some ninja berry gathering too. Who knows? At this point, you may as well just put him on the berries out here. But
yeah, for sure. China isn't really gonna go in that area for a very long time, if at all, this game.
Yeah, exactly. And picking up this 135 XP treasure, that's going to be a big deal. China usually struggles to get that first shipment rolling if they age up quickly, and you know, that's just going to help him make sure his shipments are rolling right out the gate.
Yeah, he should. Yeah, that's actually. Oh, he missed it.
If he doesn't forget, yeah.
Oh, Mongo, pay attention. Are these players stressed out or not? I don't know.
They must be. This is final game. We've seen tons of mistakes. It's 2-2 right now, correct?
Yep. Well, yeah, it's 2-2. It's tied up. This is match point, and both players are playing civilizations, which they really like. Mongo with China and GoodSpeed with his Japanese. Mongo will take 40 XP, I guess, but leaving that 135.
Yeah, the 40 XP is 95 XP less than 135. So.
Mathematically, I think we're pretty sure that was a bad play.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I'm so surprised that CDB is just sitting there too.
Yeah. But I think GoodSpeed kind of missed his chance to take that in the colonial, not the colonial, but at the start of the game, because at this point the monks are really just throwing down as many shrines as they can.
Yeah, I think is GoodSpeed just gonna full boom to 200 shrine pop?
He might. I think GoodSpeed would like that kind of play. Just get the market upgrades, get a full boom going on, and try to hit a timing later on.
Yeah, he tends to kind of you know, it's all in on one thing, which is actually a really smart thing to do. You know, like at this time in the game, I am all in on eco, and then later I'm all in on units. So like he'll stop like you'll see he's gonna go to turn shrine pop, and then all of a sudden everything he does will be geared towards making a military, right? Or in this case, it's probably aging up first, but.
Yeah. It's we'll have to see how that pans out for him, but at the moment, GoodSpeed certainly has the room to pull this off. I mean, China isn't gonna rush him at any given point, and China is actually aging with the academy.
Yeah, so
what do you think about that choice?
I think it might play into the hands of. It may play against GoodSpeed quite a bit actually, just because. Like, look at he may even be going for the P-Tard build that we just saw earlier today, because That bill's been circulating. It's really strong.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, the village going down. That like, right next to GoodSpeed's.
The thing is, he
Like
didn't send 300
base.
exports, so he can't do that. But he is going to have a ton of units in his base, and GoodSpeed is going to be caught way off guard by this. He's cutting too many corners almost. He's not even going for racks. He's just going to go straight up behind this. And like we were talking about, GoodSpeed is all in on, all in eco. Then he's going to be all in tech, and then all in army. So there's no way to deal with this.
Mongo is not building this this war academy.
Yeah, I
He
think
put down the foundation, but.
His shift click's been flaky this game. Oh, he sees it now. He's probably so sad. Look at the resources. He had enough to perfectly make a cap batch. And these days skirmishes are going to put a little bit of a monkey wrench in GoodSpeed's plan here. I wonder if we'll see him pivot, honestly. Like, look at he's only got 300 coin, 900 food. There's no way.
What is GoodSpeed doing? I mean, he doesn't have a single military production facility at all.
Yeah,
He's actually aging himself now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. He's aging now. But look at this wall. Like, what is this wall?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it protects.
I don't think it protects anything.
Well, that's pretty interesting. We'll have to see how that pans out. But I just want to say that GoodSpeed is in a position of imminent danger at this point.
Oh, he's going to hide in the corner. This is a classic GoodSpeed. How many times on Arkansas have you seen GoodSpeed wall 20 bills into the corner?
That's interesting.
The other, I almost want to see though, like the fact that he's making cab, I almost don't like. I'd rather see him. I mean, it's going to work in this case, but I would have much rather seen just like sieging all across the map for a little bit. I feel like that style's really strong against Japan.
Yeah, for sure, but
Pike
no,
minutes. Tons of minutes coming out and catching those cab at a great angle. These hauled minutes are going to do work on these meteor hammers. And right now, honestly, the race is on to finish that wall. And I think the Minutemen may have spotted the time he needed to get it up. Mongo making a really ugly retreat here, losing almost an entire cab batch just to the hauled minutes alone.
Yeah, quite. Yeah, there 2 went down. 2 more are going to go down soon. Oh well, maybe not. Those are ranged infantry, but. Like, really, the pressure is on for GoodSpeed at this point.
Yeah, where these bills get out, that would be insane for him, actually.
There are 13 bills in there.
No, I mean, look at where they're mining over here.
Ah, yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, he should totally take those and sort of push them down. Barracks going up.
Oh, no, he's leading them to him. He's leading it to him.
Oh, no.
Oh, die faster, villager. And he died. And looks like Mongo making the right play here, realizing that there's got to be something worth walling in back here. And he's just going to go right for the throat and just start sieging down that wall.
And walls have been moved, but
appropriately so, though. I mean, I think that would, it's going to cause GoodSpeed some problem here, though, for sure. And at least 10 bills going down here. I'm not sure how Mongo is going to be able to lose from this position. Like, he's just killed 10 villagers, and he's all over an unprotected golden pavilion.
Yeah, I mean, China's FF is like in full scale assault at this point.
Yeah, and GoodSpeed throwing down a castle in the corner here, just hoping to win through the Shrine Eco. He is still up effectively by 8 villas. So if somehow he can get a mass roll, he might have a chance.
Yeah, that's certain. China is playing in a way where they will lose steam in a little bit. Now, the question is that going to be enough to actually be safe from it? GoodSpeed is starting to get a few units out. He has 10 units, he has 8 Ashi on the way. It looks like he's planning on losing the town.
Oh, 2 meteor hammers. It's a great trade for him. And an iron flail, if he so chooses to take it.
That's a full calf batch, isn't it?
Almost. One iron flail away, but more concerning, we have another old Han army coming out here, or whatever it's called. Maybe it's something like that. And, yeah. I just don't see how GoodSpeed's able to just hold this cat. If he can just whittle down the cat batch so he can't get force engaged on, he'd be fine, but that's going to be a tough answer for him to have.
This is scary.
Yeah. There's only 4 vills in there. Mongo obviously not knowing that, but GoodSpeed going for a little bit of a split push here, trying to catch either reinforcements or some villagers. But Mongo10 right on top, but pulling his 2 vills off right away, and that's going to be another 4 vills and an outpost, and all of GoodSpeed's production facilities coming up here in a second.
Yeah, for sure.
He actually has a racks at home too. He's just got stuff everywhere.
Yeah, he rebuilt it. GoodSpeed is like trying to run around the map and dodge the Chinese army. which is an interesting playstyle, but I'm not sure that it's the right one.
Yeah, and the other thing is Mongo's got a flying crow. Now, honestly, I would just unpack this flying crow and slow roll these 4 shrines with it. Like, you don't even have to move the flying crow; it'd be firing at full capacity forever.
Yeah, for sure. Basically, all these facilities are going to go down. Well, Mongo is not taking your advice and taking these down as well.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna kill that off and then probably just right-click on the TC, and that should be enough for him at this point, honestly.
It should totally be enough.
Ooh, that's an expensive wall.
Is he making? Oh yeah, that is. Ouch.
It's like a 50 wood wall. But GoodSpeed actually does have a lot of resources up. He's managed to set up better in Ashy. Maybe he even has a shipment coming soon. I'm not sure, but you know, he's got a lot of Ashy out in the field too, so he might go hold on still.
I think if GoodSpeed is going to win this game at all, he's not going to do it anytime soon. And I think Mongo is in a pretty commanding position. Like, what does... I mean, to be completely fair, Mongo doesn't have, let's say, the economy, which
He
GoodSpeed
does,
has.
though.
Well, yeah.
They're
yeah,
even in Eco. Like...
He's hunting. He's hunting, and GoodSpeed is not GoodSpeed. He's running around villagers. I want to say that Mongo is ahead in every single way possible,
I
but
think he
perhaps
is.
the game isn't actually over yet. Oh, it might be soon.
It just depends on if this turns into a game. I'm done. You know, I'm just ending the game because it needs to end, or if somehow a miracle, like 5 run it or some random ridiculous shipment pops out.
The Haramoto Samurai.
That would be insane popping out of that infantry ball right now.
For sure. These walls kind of do favor GoodSpeed's range.
Ooh, 10 Ashy in the mix here.
Oh yeah.
And 7 hand mortars coming out behind this, so this has to be the moment where GoodSpeed holds, otherwise he is in some serious trouble.
That's a lot of Chinese units.
Yeah, and the meteor hammers once again just attacking from that range and causing so much hurt.
To be fair, they are attacking.
And the disciples in there too.
I don't know.
Yeah, the problem with this is the meteor hammers are able to hit Ashy without putting them in hand attack a lot of times. So
yeah, that's really good.
He's cleaning it up fairly well from a cat perspective, but there's still a ton of infantry left, and behind this there's mortars just firing on all of his buildings. I don't even know where the flying crow went, but it's out here somewhere, I'm sure.
It's right there. It's AFK, I want to say.
Oh, okay. He AFK'd his flying crow, and he also AFK'd a banner army back here. So you may want to start using that move all in military units button.
Oh yeah. 5 Naginata popping out. They're gonna take out. Oh, they're
Nothing
gonna take out a few hand mortar.
Yeah, they could probably even kill them all, but.
Oh, well there we go.
And that was the end there. Kind of anticlimactic, but Japan continuing to kind of disappoint almost in the tournament. So.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm not sure if GoodSpeed played that as well as he could have.
Yeah, he did go quite ham on the boom. Maybe
yeah.
a few shrines too many.
I think Mongo's standard, well-practiced Chinese fortress just really did well against GoodSpeed's just balls to the wall boom. I can't call it anything else.
Yeah,
pretty really interesting to watch.
Yeah, but I'm glad you mentioned that. Like this kind of plays into Mongo's strengths, like with China. He has a very solid build to execute to do exactly what he did.
Yeah, for sure. So that wraps up that game. Mongo will move on to the next round, so congrats to him for doing that. Mongo's showing a lot of potential in this tournament, I think. Yeah, I think so too. I was kind of worried about when I played him earlier that he was going to